Hey everybody, Pat here, and in this video we're going to go over the 7 cold email rules you must break to actually get results in sales using cold emails. Okay, so cold email has exploded in popularity. It's probably no surprise to you. You're looking at doing cold email yourself, right? Or you've been doing cold email, you get a lot of cold emails, so on and so forth. But it also means the failure rates are increasing, okay? Prospects are flooded with their inbox, getting a lot of cold emails from other people, meaning it's harder to get results, okay? But that being said, there's an opportunity for you and me and everyone else watching this and doing cold email because most people are novice cold emails and they're doing a bad job with email. Okay, so with a few tweaks, you can actually stand out and get results. And that's what I'm going to show you. All right, so what's in it for you? If you follow the 7 rules in this guide, I'm going to guarantee you'll convert cold emails at a higher rate than you thought were ever possible. Okay, what does that mean? If you're doing cold email now, you're going to get better, faster, and more sustainable results, which is key because I see people that aren't able to sustain their cold email results, right? Make more money, be more successful, master the cold email channel, and actually start investing in other sales and marketing channels so that you can scale up. All right. If that sounds good, then just a quick introduction. If you don't know me, my name is Patrick Spielman. I'm the founder and CEO of Uptics. We've helped over 3,000 businesses with their sales, mostly outreach. Okay, I was a former 6-time award-winning top 10 master franchisee at a company called Sculpture Hospitality. I built a 7-figure sales agency, sent millions of cold emails, and my content, okay, has reached millions of viewers. All right. So enough about me. Let's get started into the content in no particular order. So keep in mind, this is the 7 cold email rules you must break. All right, that we have to break. So first one, you don't always have to be professional in your cold emails. Okay, your industry does matter, but it doesn't mean you need to stick to the basics. All right, so to get results with cold email, you ultimately just need to use pattern interrupts, and humor is actually one of those that you can use to be more memorable and engaging. Again, you need to know your audience before you break this rule. Okay, let me give you a quick example. This is a follow-up email. Contact first name. I totally understand you're busy and replying to cold emails is about as enjoyable as insert, funny, humorous thing, vicious root canal on a particular date of the week. But even a 1 or 2 word reply would make my day and maybe even yours. Can I send you some more info? This is a bump, a follow-up email. Okay, using a little bit of humor. I've used a framework like this for a long time. It gets really good results. And it's just super, super easy. Okay, a little bit humorous. We don't often use a lot of humor in like email number 1 or anything like that. That one's more about business. Okay, but if you're really a good copywriter, or you're in an industry, or you have an offer that humor goes well, don't be afraid to use it. And definitely don't be afraid to use it in a follow-up email as long as you're using it tactfully. Okay, no one's gonna. I don't think we've ever been called out for this over being like edgy or like anything like that. All right, it's just a pattern interrupt. So that's using humor can be a pattern interrupt. All right, that's rule number 1, which again, no particular order. Rule number 2, writing short. You can break the conventional wisdom of writing short. Okay, I've even given this advice of write short emails, and the reason why I give the advice of writing short emails is because most people suck at writing long emails and being more engaging. Okay, but the truth is the longer emails can actually perform better unless you write like this. Okay, so if you write boring cold emails like this and make a bunch of mistakes, like sending from HubSpot starter send or something like that, okay, and you've got your like unsubscribe links and stuff like that just sitting there, you can tell this is sent from HubSpot, and you write super long, boring emails. I hope this message finds you well. My name is Ron Blank, and excited to reach out to you on behalf of our team. I understand the unique challenges that IT SMEs like yourself, so on and so forth. You get the point. Okay, if your emails are like this, by all means, do not write long emails. Okay, don't do it. You're going to snore your prospects to death. They're going to close the email, they're going to move on to the next thing. Okay, but on the other hand, if you can write intriguing copy and keep the reader hooked, your prospects, that can be a great recipe. But good rule of thumb here, long and bad is not good. Long and great can be amazing. Here's an example. This is an actual email that I received. Okay, here's the subject line, your recent ad. All right, relevant, made sense. I'm going to read this whole thing to you because I think it's a great email. Hi, Patrick, funny story. I was doom scrolling on Facebook and came across this ad, this here ad, and it was an actual image of mine. Now, they might have automated this somehow. Okay, if they did, super cool, and kudos to them. Um, Interesting, I thought to myself, but then something dawned on me. Even though I do cold outreach via emails as showcased by this email, is this a type of inception? Um, this ad didn't grab me. Then a light bulb went off. Ding. There are a few elements that are missing from it, which isn't your fault. This is actually a copywriting strategy of basically not putting the blame on the person you're trying to appeal to. So you're resonating a problem, but then you're saying, hey, this isn't your fault. Okay, so you're basically removing the fault and stuff from them. Anyway, I've just had the advantage of working with literally thousands of ads. Think of this as a car driving on spare tires. It'll still drive, but it won't be optimal. With 4 brand spanking new tires, everything changes, and you don't feel like your wheels are going to fall off on the highway. Been there. When these elements are implemented, I see good results with my clients, like 42K made from 3K ad spend. Lead cost dropping by a whopping 80%. I'd love to help Uptics achieve similar results. So if you're open to a short call, I'll break everything down that I did to achieve these results and how your company can achieve similar outcomes. I'll also point out that there wasn't any Facebook trickery happening here, as these ads are run using simple strategies and funnels. In fact, we had no say in the funnels and ad strategies for the results. The key here is to have amazing messaging that your target customers can't ignore. They're glued to it like a Black Friday sale, obnoxiously waiting to get the 8K TV for a tenth of the price. And that's it. That's the end of my spiel. This is total coincidence, but that's how my last name is spelled. The first part of my last name. Open to a quick call. Reply with Rubik's Cube if you're interested. Now, I did not reply back with Rubik's Cube. Otherwise, you can reply with your favorite insult. Little humor, right? I like to screenshot those, so make it creative. Anthony, co-founder, Customora. Okay. So a little shout out to Anthony here. All right, hope you don't mind me going over this. But this is a very intriguing email. There's a mix of humor in it. It's also long form, but it's captivating. All right, now most people can't get away with this kind of copy because they're not great copywriters. If you have a great copywriter, or you know great copywriters, or you're yourself a great copywriter, or you can take some learnings from, an email like this potentially, and it could potentially work better than even your short form emails. It's a pattern interrupt. A long form email can actually be pattern interrupt because everyone's doing short form cold emails. Okay, so this can actually be a pattern interrupt. Just don't mistake an email like this as a pattern interrupt. This is not a pattern interrupt. Okay, this is Snorefest. All right. Okay, so that's rule number 2, writing short. Breaking rule number 2. All right. Rule number 3, how can we break this? Book a meeting. Okay, while it's great to book a meeting, most of you don't yet have an irresistible offer. Okay, so a lot of the advice out there is that, of course, cold email to try to get meetings. Well, you might want to break that advice in some cases, especially if you don't have an irresistible offer. We're going to get into more of that in just a little bit, so hang tight with me. Okay, so if that's the case, you should really just focus on getting an interested reply or getting the prospect to not say no and to just leave the door open for future communication. Just like get them to be like, yeah, that's fine if you follow up with me in a few months. Like that's better than a no, take me off your list or unsubscribe. Okay? Now you have an opportunity to follow up with them and nurture them in the future. So you might not want to actually try to book a meeting and a cold email. All right? That's rule number 3. Rule number 4, set it and forget it. Okay, so cold email. Just give me 1 second here. My screen is like frozen or something. I'm not sure. We got Elsa going on here. Elsa, help me out here. We'll give a quick little refresh. All right. I hope I'm back. Sorry. I always call frozen when things freeze. I call them Elsa because all my kids watch Frozen. All right. They're girls. Okay, rule number 4, set it and forget it. Cold email is branded as easy. Okay? And while it can be, there's a number of key areas that people fail consistently because they think that you can just set it and forget it, which is far from the truth. Okay, maybe you can do this once you've figured out your offer, your angles, your copywriting, all this kind of stuff, but you probably haven't, in which case you want to definitely listen to this advice. Okay, so number 1, what you want to do, nurturing and follow-up. Okay, I know it's easy to just want to go get a bunch of cold leads and keep feeding the top of the funnel, top of the funnel, top of the funnel with more leads and not focus on actually nurturing and follow up with people who've replied positively, semi-positively, right? Or just left the door open for you to follow up with them in the future, or maybe even booked a meeting. Chances are you booked a meeting, you're not going to get the deal right away. Build your follow-up and nurturing mechanisms, lead looping. You need to do this, okay? Because most of your results are going to come with your follow-up, right? As they say, the fortune is in the follow-up. So build lead nurturing and deal nurturing sequences instead of just trying to set your cold email sequences and forget it, okay? Number 2, conversion optimization. Test angles, lead magnets, call to actions, etc. Okay, these are often overlooked. All right, most people just launch their sequences, and again, they just try to set it and forget it, and then they don't pay attention to anything after that. Okay, you need to be testing different angles, different lead magnets, call to actions, all that kind of stuff. All right, if you can double your conversions from sending the exact same emails, you can double your results, meaning you double your sales from outbound. Okay, so why in the heck would you just try to set it and forget it if you can always beat your last best version? In most cases, I don't even see people testing, which is a big no-no. Okay, you can't set it and forget it. Okay, if anybody's teaching you cold email is set it and forget it, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, and number 3 kind of goes along the lines of conversion optimization, right? No pattern interrupts. Okay, if you just write a single cold email and you're not constantly trying to come up with new pattern interrupts that are going to get your prospects to actually respond to you, by using either relevance, personalization, copywriting with lead magnets, and so on, more on that later, you're not going to succeed with cold email, especially this day and age. There's too many competitors coming into the market with cold email. And I don't mean your direct competitors. Other people cold emailing your same prospects are your competitors. You need to do better than them. Okay? So do not set it and forget it. Follow these. Rule number 5, don't spend more than you have to. I know cold email is branded as cheap, and a lot of you that are probably watching this don't have a ton of money to launch their sales, their outreach, their customer acquisition strategy, so on and so forth. Now, hopefully you do. Hopefully you're watching this and you have a boatload of money and you're like, well, hey, let's do this cold email thing too. Hopefully that's the case. But if it's not the case, you're probably coming to try cold email because you think it's cheap. Okay? It is cheap compared to other sales and marketing channels, right? That can be true, but you should not go into it being a cheapskate. Don't be a cheapskate. Here's a few examples. Email inboxes. I see too many people now trying to, go to the latest trend, the next cheaper option for cold email, in trying to use custom email servers. Custom, I can't type. As you can tell, I don't use spell check. Okay, I have typos all over the place. At least I didn't use ChatGPT to build this, okay? All right, so custom email servers, don't use them. All right, just use Google and Microsoft. I understand it costs like $6 or $7 per inbox. Okay, it's money well worth spent. If you can't make $6 per inbox worth the money, then you have no business doing cold email. Okay, or you need to focus on these other rules that I'm talking about. Okay, don't cheap out. And I'm not going to go into a long-winded reason why not to use these. It's just better to use these. And stop fiddling around with all these little things promising the next best thing. Google and Microsoft have the most intricate emailing systems on the face of the planet that constantly white label IP addresses, and they have the infrastructure and the credibility with their IP addresses, and they have the most credibility within their own pools. Just use Google and Microsoft. Okay? The next one, cheap data. Although there's a lot of cheap data providers now, data is becoming a little more commoditized, you can still get what you pay for to some degree. So be a little bit careful there. Email validation. I often see people say, well, hey, I got these leads from a database, right? So I don't need to validate. I don't need to use a zero bounce or never bounce or anything like that. And if you're using Uptics, my software, you don't actually have to use zero bounce or never bounce. We actually have email validation built in, but don't rely on lead databases just to try to save a few bucks. Okay? If you don't use Uptics and your email tool doesn't do email validation, then definitely use an email validation tool. Okay? All right. Rule number 6, use generic subject lines like quick question or, your company name plus the other company's name or first name plus first name, so on and so forth, right? What you really want to do is use something that's meaningful to your prospect and make use of every single line of your email. Let me give you an example. So if you're selling software development to SaaS founders, you can maybe use a subject line that says their company name and sprint backlog. Okay? If you sent me an email that says Uptics sprint backlog, now I'm pretty involved in our tech roadmap, okay, as a small business SaaS founder. That is going to mean something to me. That is better than sending me quick question. And this is going to build on the later email, okay? Maybe it doesn't move heaven and earth, to have a subject line like this, but every little thing adds up. It's snowballing, compounding effects, okay? Just like interest, getting interest on your money, right? That's what all these little things are meant to do. Another example, if you're selling Facebook ads to a business or marketer, Facebook ad issue, that's going to stand out. Or as you saw up here earlier under number 2 here, right? Your recent ad. This stuck out to me. This is pretty relevant. Okay, so there's that. And last one, if you're recruiting sales reps for SMBs, sales rep issue. Okay, pretty simple. All right, it's going to mean something to the prospect. All right, and rule number 7 to break of don't pitching in your emails. Now, I said earlier, I know to break the rule of trying to book a meeting, right? Some of you don't want to book a meeting. Some of you do. Okay, so break this rule if you have a no-brainer offer. If you don't have one of these, if you don't have, I had 2 of those things. If you don't have it, stay away from pitching and just try getting a reply. But if you have an irresistible offer, pitch for sure. Let me give you an example. Okay, so to build on my earlier subject line, here's an example again of a potential software development company cold email. All right, Uptick sprint backlog. Patrick, notice Uptick is growing and figure your tech team is slammed keeping up with the chaos. Definitely the case. Okay, I'm sure you have a backlog of tasks, new features, or even products you keep moving from sprint to sprint. Definitely the case. Okay, we will give you 40 hours of free software development to try us out. Then it's just $25 per hour with no long-term contracts, and we can start immediately. Huh, interesting. You'll give me 40 free hours of software development? Now, I get emails from software development companies all the time, just like this one. Which email is better? If you want to pause the video for a second and read this email, and then come back and compare it to the email I wrote, which one do you think is better? Okay, this is what would get my attention. I still might not buy from them, of course, but it's going to give me something to think about for sure, right? This is an irresistible offer. And maybe you can make the offer even better. I just came up with this. Maybe it's, hey, we offer free software development in exchange for equity in your company. Now, I might not take somebody up on that, but as an early stage bootstrap startup, maybe someone that's earlier stage than we are, that might be very irresistible, right? So your offer, if you have a great offer, just directly pitch them in the email and don't dance around and beat around the bush. Now, most of you don't have this. So I've advised a lot of companies that can't come up with an irresistible either service-based offer or just a crazy offer in general. This is a service-based offer. Now, you can do a direct pitch on your actual offer like, hey, maybe you can guarantee to make somebody $50,000 in MRR in 90 days or their money back or something like that. That's more of a direct offer where this was a service-based lead magnet offer. But if you have a really, really good offer, this is a great lead magnet, go ahead and just directly pitch. Now, you might have noticed I used a problem, agitate, solution framework. Okay, so Upticks, this is more of a relevant line here, and then it's problem. Okay, then it's agitate. Then it's solution with a short call to action. Okay, now in this case, because I have a great offer in here, ask for 15 minutes. Why not? All right, now, if you don't have an offer like this, don't ask for time. Just try to get a reply. All right. So that's the 7 rules here that you definitely want to break to actually get results with cold email. I'm sure I could keep going on, forever on this, but here's 7 rules that I came up with here this afternoon and wanted to record this video. All right, the link for this Notion document is in the description. So if you want it, then just go ahead and click that link and you can make a copy of this document. If you got some value from this video, I'd love if you would like it, Comment below with any questions whatsoever. I actually reply to the comments. And then if you got a ton of value and you're in the market for not just a cold email tool, but a revenue generation platform, then you should definitely check out my software Uptics that can help you generate more revenue and land in the primary inbox with all your cold emails, get better results with pattern interrupts, so on and so forth. All right. So I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.